we're live. Episode 163 last night was UFC 285, one of my favorite cards in a very long time, man. It was spectacular start to finish. We watched it from 5:30 all the way to 1 in the morning, and it really never felt like that long.
No, it didn't feel long. What was interesting was the talking after the fact, I thought.
What? Like when we were
The
just
post interview, like with John Jones talking about like all his stuff.
Mm.
Like I've never really watched that before.
Um,
He was just like left like right after the fight.
Mm.
And like him like getting his perspective right after, like 15 minutes after it ended. It's pretty fucking cool, I think.
Yeah, those are always good. They don't
Yeah.
always have the main event winner in the booth like they did with Anik and Gumbel.
Yeah.
But usually when those happen, it's good commentary. And I like what he said about how like he doesn't remember anything that happened. He's gonna have to go back and watch it all because his adrenaline was pumping. Yeah, that's always cool. I think that John Jones. I mean, here's the thing, right? If you win as he won in the first 2 minutes and you're not tired at all, you're much more likely to go do some stuff like that. Whereas if you go in a 25-minute war, you're like, yeah, I want to get the fuck out of here. So I think that's why he was able to do it. Fuck, man, that was kind of dominant, huh?
It was a dominant win. I mean, are we surprised? No. Are other people surprised? Maybe. But I mean, like, what happened that we didn't think was gonna happen? I mean, he took him right down to the ground and fucking summoned him right away. Like I would have thought that was gonna happen. I don't know. It literally was gonna be.
I thought Cyril Gane was gonna hit him at some point. Cyril Gane didn't get a single significant strike.
He hit him in the nose.
He didn't get a single strike landed, and I mean, listen, we've been saying that about Cyril Gane for a long time now that he needs to work on his wrestling, and he said it. He said that he's been working nonstop with I can't remember his trainer Redmond, but he said after the Ngannou fight he put a priority on it. And Cyril Gane's only been training in MMA for 5 years now, right? He's 11-2. Only 2 losses, John Jones and Francis Ngannou. It's great losses. And he
said that was
he's 32 years old, so he has a lot of time, but you can't come into the sport thinking you can just be a Muay Thai kickboxer and think you're going to be fucking everybody up.
Yeah, like
John Jones proved that.
He might lose to Pavlovich. He might.
See, I don't know. He beat Tai Tuivasa, who I think is similar, not as good as Pavlovich, but he's similar. In the fact that if you keep your distance, Pavlovich is a one-trick pony. Pavlovich wants to knock you out and knock you out early. You know, he's not. There's not anything else to his game, and God has showed that he can exploit that when he beat Derek Lewis and when he beat Tai Tuivasa.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think Tai Tuivasa is not on the same. He did rock him. Like I said, he did rock him, but he's not on the same trajectory or maybe fighting IQ, maybe.
Well, first of all, he's not as good an athlete. That's when we look at the difference between these top guys, right? So you have John Jones, Francis Ngannou, Stipe, Cyril Gane. I'd throw Tom Aspinall in there. Those are the best athletes in the division. Curtis Blaydes is up there, but not quite as good. Sergey Pavlovich, by the way, has an 84-inch reach. So he's only a half-inch reach difference from John Jones. Just kind of found that out. And John Jones, I still have some questions for him at heavyweight.
Yeah, like he said, he didn't feel comfortable standing in there, which is interesting. But then he went right for what he felt comfortable with.
He stood.
Stipe is going to feel comfortable standing in there.
He stood against the heavyweight for 30 seconds. That's it. Yeah, he landed a couple strikes. Cyril didn't land any. And immediately after the fight, they were talking about Jones versus Stipe in July in International Fight Week, which will be UFC 290 on July 9th. And they both seem very down. They seem ready to go. They were calling each other out. Stipe had 2 of the most colorful interviews I've ever seen after a fucking fight. It was so boring.
I know. Oh, yeah. I was going to say colorful. I was going to say, dude, it was fucking.
He just hopped on the mic and he said,
I'm ready.
Yeah, he won.
Ready. Not hyping it up at all.
I'm going to beat him. That's it.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to give John Jones any flowers or anything.
I think he's just not he doesn't want to market himself at all.
Oh,
He doesn't want to.
I don't think he's a John Jones fan.
Oh, I'm sure he's not. Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. Maybe he doesn't appreciate John Jones out of the octagon antics.
That's what I
and-
mean.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. But I mean, he would get paid a lot of money.
Oh yeah, Stipe versus John Jones is going to sell. It's going to sell more than Gone. Well, maybe, probably, because it's Jones's first fight back in 3 years. That was a lot of the hype, and now it's Jones' second fight back, so it's a little less, but it's still Jones versus Miocic now, which is huge on International Fight Week, where they'll probably have a really, really good co-main event too.
Is it bad to have a main event end in like what seemed like a minute, 2 minutes?
Bad in what way?
Is it just bad for like the UFC, or is it?
No,
good?
I don't think so. I think
No.
that one was
It's
one
so
of the rare
anticlimactic.
cases. Yeah, it's definitely anticlimactic, but that was one.
I like
that one was
that.
one of the rare cases where we just, usually if you see a submission that quick, you're like, oh shit, oh he has him, oh he tapped, and we were kind of like he had a guillotine for a solid minute, and then he just cinched it in right at the end, and he tapped so quick that we were all just,
oh shit, he tapped.
what the fuck, dude?
What the fuck?
He tapped? Yeah.
Well, the
that was
commentators
definitely
didn't even see it either, so it was kind of like misleading.
Right.
Like it was like, oh, he doesn't have it, and then it ended up being like,
listen, he had him in a neck crank, a front-facing neck crank, for a good 35, 40 seconds.
yeah.
And then as soon as he cinched in the guillotine, 2 seconds before it got tapped. So quick.
Yeah.
John Jones's grip is it's probably pretty tight.
Yeah.
So
Tighter than Bo Nichols?
no, I don't think so. It might be. Could be.
You think Bo Nichols is tighter than John Jones?
I think Bo Nickel has one of the tightest. Well, it depends on the grip because I don't know. I know he has a really good rear naked choke. He's had a lot of submissions with rear naked chokes. He won yesterday against Jamie Pickett with an arm triangle. It was a very weird technique. Like usually with an arm triangle, you want to buck your hips, get both of your legs extended to the opposite side or to the same side as the arm. And he just would not escape half guard. He wanted to keep one of his legs in half guard. And I feel like if he just cranked that, if he went all the way to the other side, he would have been able to get such a more flush grip, right? Because when you know what I'm saying? When you have half guard, you have you can't really extend because what you want to do with an arm triangle is get your shoulder underneath the arm so you can just squeeze and their neck is just absolutely viced. But when you're in there, your shoulder isn't getting under and you're basically just trying to put your bicep into their neck as much as possible to just squeeze it.
Yeah.
So it was weird. I mean, he got it anyway, fuck it. But
Took a long time.
it seemed like that wasn't his move. He has really good rear naked chokes, and I know I've seen him rolling a lot of arm bars. But maybe arm triangle is not one that he's practiced too much. I mean, it's Bo Nickel. He's practiced every hold, I'm sure, but
I think he could be Pereira, dude. Pereira's got no ground game. What the fuck is he gonna do? It's like Jamie Pickett.
Well, you looked at Bo Nickel, and the first thing he did was throw a flying kick that almost made him land on his fucking face.
Yeah.
Bad.
Yeah, that was bad.
I also think Pereira's much bigger than Bo Nickel. But that being said, you look at a couple things on this card, okay? Because Bo Nickel and Shavkat Rakhmonov both had wins. Bo Nickel in 2 minutes. Shavkat Rakhmonov had it in the third round in a very, very interesting fight with Jeff Neal. I thought Jeff Neal performed as well as I thought he was going to. I thought this was going to be a very close fight, but I think he impressed a lot of people.
If he won by decision, I would have gotten the 10%, top 10%. But he didn't.
Yeah. Who, Shavkat or Jeff?
Shavkat.
Okay.
Jeff, I didn't bet on Jeff, dude.
Yeah.
That was he did way better than I think a lot of people anticipated. His punching was really good. His striking was good. It's just the pace that Shavkat puts on, and him with this ground game it's when people have a really good ground game in their strikings
well, that was the thing. They didn't even go to the ground.
He didn't go to the ground?
Not at all.
Damn, I must be thinking about another fight. I don't think I really watched that fight.
Shavkat got rocked a couple times. Oh, you know what? You came downstairs and you missed the first round.
Yeah, I missed the first round.
So Herb Dean might have taken the cake for the worst performer of the night. Herb Dean fucked up on 3 different fights last night. Not fucked up, but like just had a bad moment.
Yeah.
The Brunson Duplessis fight, first of all. All right, Herb Dean needs to be investigated for what the fuck he was doing, okay? Because Brunson was literally on the ground like this. Like, I swear to God, with his arms extended like that for 10, 15 seconds. And Duplessis they were both so gassed at the end of round 2. But Duplessis literally landed like 3-4 strikes. One came in the very last second of the round. And Herb Dean wasn't even like getting in there, like crunch, like lunge down, like, should I stop it? Hey, defend yourself, doing this. He was just standing, waiting. He was like, there's 5 seconds left in the round. I'm just going to let it go. And then the corner threw the towel in. And Brunson was badly injured. I don't know what happened to him, but he was rushed out of there. Like,
Was he?
Yeah, like bad. He wasn't defending himself. He was like doing this for 5 seconds.
Concussion.
Yeah, definitely concussion. So, and then Shavkat Rakhmonov dropped his mouthpiece, and it took Herb Dean 3.5 minutes to realize it.
Really?
Joe Rogan was on the commentary desk saying, like, I want to yell at him to like tell him to get it because it was right in front of Joe. And then they show another angle 30 seconds later where Shavkat and Jeff are in the clinch. And Herb's like standing looking at Joe, and Joe's doing this shit. He's like, and Herb's just like, what? And then he just goes back to the fight. It was so weird.
Damn, Herb Dean.
Herb,
fucking up, man.
There was another fight. I can't remember what it was, but it was like, there was no early stoppages on this card, which I thought was good. But there was another moment that I was like, dude, Herb fucked up again. Oh my God. And then he didn't do the main event, which was Mark Goddard's only fight of the night was the main event.
Yeah, what? Really?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Which I thought was very interesting. What else happened weird on this card? John Jones had his foot tape cut off right before he stepped in the octagon.
Yeah, they held him back too.
That's gotta fucked up your mojo, dude. You're walking out there, your first walkout in 3 years. He's about to do his crawl into the cage that Jones always does, and they're like, no, hold on. He waited there for them to cut the tape off his toe for a good, like, 2 minutes, like 2 legitimate minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, he was just standing there, and they're like, what is that? You can't have that. Which, I don't know, can you?
It's illegal, yeah.
It's illegal?
And John Jones was talking about it after the fact. He was like, I hope the right people hear it and know that there's no benefit to it. I can't kick harder with it, so I hope they'll let me do it for my next fight. It's because do you remember the injury?
Yeah.
When he, you know what I find?
You say, he has a broken toe, ladies and gentlemen.
You know what I find crazy? You know what's nuts? So that was John Jones versus Chael Sonnen in 2016, something like that. Jones broke his toe in the first round, and Jones got a TKO win in the first round. If that fight had gone to the second round, Jones wouldn't have been able to continue. They would have had to stop the fight, and Chael Sonnen would have won.
That's crazy, huh?
And I don't know what time it was in the first round. But like, if it was close.
So basically, if he didn't hit that head kick that broke his toe, he would have fucking.
Was it a head kick? I thought it was.
A...
Let's see. Does it not say the clock?
If he didn't knock him out in that point in time, he would have lost. Yeah,
if the fight went to the stool and anybody in the corner noticed it or the referee noticed it, or when they stand back up to go into round 2, if they would have noticed it. Because that, you got to think about it. Like, all right, that was in 2013, actually.
Oh, fuck that.
Crazy.
Hitting on a broken toe.
But can you imagine? It's not even, there's a good 5 minutes, like 5 legit minutes.
Yeah.
In between a fight ending, like the refs stopping the fight, him celebrating, the refs raising the hands, Joe Rogan coming in to interview him before Joe Rogan was like, hey, your toe's broken, bro. And no one else realized it.
Yeah.
5 minutes, there's a bunch of people in the fucking octagon. Jones is shaking hands with everybody. Referee, everything. No one noticed it. And then Joe Rogan steps in there. He's like, hey, by the way, he doesn't fucking miss a beat, does he?
Joe, yeah, I know. He's very self-aware, I think. I think
Yeah.
I think it's a reasonable thing to say. So I think we should get into the fucking biggest upset of the night.
The only upset of the night?
Only
Is that what you mean?
upset.
The
The only
only upset?
Underdog to win.
13 out of 14
And no
favorites
one
won
picked
in
it.
this card. Yeah, it was the
People
one.
on Verdict did. Sorry.
Yeah.
23,000 XP. 23,000 XP.
It's a lot. Alexa Grasso, new women's flyweight champion, neck crank submission in round 4 to beat Valentina Shevchenko. 29 years old, 16-3 record on a 5-fight winning streak. They will fight again, 1,000%. So, and what's interesting about that is, before we get into Grasso, because I have some shit to say about Grasso, Manon Fiorot, who we've been talking about for a while, she's now going to be the number 2 contender in the flyweight division. She's going to be SOL for a minute because they're not going to book Fiorot in a championship fight until Grasso Shevchenko rematch. If Shevchenko wins, they might book the trilogy, and then Fiorot's out for like a year and a half.
I don't know. Yeah, it's so weird not seeing Shevchenko not a champion, because she's just gonna mop the floor with everyone else. I feel. Well, Fiorot's honestly.
Well, Grasso won the first round, and she was like winning the 4th round.
She won it
going into the 5th round. If it made it to the 5th round, that was probably going to be 2-2 going in the 5th. And Shevchenko had a split decision in her last fight.
Yeah.
Shevchenko's still dominant. She's still super good. She's so well rounded. She's so good on the ground and obviously standing. But time's catching up to her.
Yeah, holy shit.
36, I think. And excuse it, me, everybody. I'm fucking sick.
34.
34. How old's Nunes?
Nunes?
I think Nunes is up there. I think she's like 37, 38.
I think Nunes is old too. And that's not really old.
Well, it is for a women's flyweight.
Yeah.
To be fair.
5'8". She is 34. Still young, dude.
Really? 34. I think it's refreshing the fact that over the last year and a half, all 3 women's belts have changed. Alexa Grasso was the number 6 flyweight contender. She jumps up to champion. She will be like top 5 pound for pound. 29 years old. 2nd Mexican-born champion ever.
Erin Blanchfield's time is coming.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming.
I think we're going to see something like Blanchfield-Fiorot next. And then the winner of that's going to fight whoever wins the trilogy. That's basically what it is. And I don't like that fight for Eric.
No, neither do I. Who?
Eric. Fiorot's going to... I hate to say it because I love Blanchfield. Blanchfield looked really good against Andrade standing. And she's obviously really good on the ground. Blanchfield's ground game is elite, especially for a 23-year-old, about to turn 24. But
I'm gonna have to keep fading.
Fiorot's boxing is spectacular.
Power.
Fiorot is like Nunes level boxing.
For this division.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's really the same thing, but like
it is.
I mean, Nunes has more power, but Nunes fights at 135 for women's bantamweight, and she probably walks around at 160. Nunes cuts a lot of weight, I think. She's a big 135.
She scares me.
Yeah. I would not want to fight Amanda
running
Nunes.
so far, so fast away.
Oh, she's catching you.
No.
Oh, she's catching you.
No, she ain't catching
Yeah,
me.
100%. She's catching you. She's throwing you in.
No, she ain't catching
She's
me.
throwing you
I
in
could
an
probably
avocado.
beat her running backwards. It's my guess.
Okay. Keep guessing that.
Oh no, I don't guess. Actually, I know.
Okay.
I know.
So Alexa Grasso, the only underdog on the card to win. She was a plus 600 favorite. Closing odds plus 680, I want to say. And fucking shout out Dylan, who got a 9 for 10 parlay.
Yeah.
It sucks. Picked all the favorites. Smart man. You and Steve tied exactly for the pod bets, pod win-loss record thing.
Yeah, and we didn't even talk to each other
Yeah, no,
The whole time.
you guys didn't have the same picks, I don't believe.
No,
I think you
we
got
didn't.
different losses, right?
Yeah. Like if I didn't, all right. So I went out on a whim and I picked fucking the guy who faced Ian Gary. You know what I
No.
mean? So
No. Yeah, you did. Okay. Yeah, yep. So if you would have picked Gary, yeah. And we all got Marquez wrong except for Dylan, who picked the favorite. But yeah, you guys 11-3, 4-0 for locks.
Marquez, because I bet on the other dude.
I think because I told you all of us picked Marquez. I'm gonna assume that's why. Steve, over the last 3 events, is 11-0 on locks.
Did I go undefeated this week?
You went on locks, yeah. 11-3, 4-0 on locks. I was 3-1 because I had Shevchenko as a lock.
You're cursed.
It's tough.
You're cursed.
I have not gone undefeated on locks once. I go 3-1 almost every single fucking week.
Did I go undefeated the first week? I can't remember. I did.
Yeah. All time now, you are 21-6 on locks. Good for 78%.
Damn.
Steve is 19-4, good for 83%.
Damn, we're killing it.
So here's
that's really good.
Here's what's fucking crazy, right? Here's what's fucking crazy. So Dylan has the best percentage of picks, but he's only picked 2 events. In one of those yesterday, he didn't pick all of the fights.
Yeah.
So like it counts, but it doesn't really count. But Dylan's picking 77%, which is ridiculous. He's 17-5. I have the next best percentage-wise with 65.1%.
Okay.
But my locks is 68%, and you and Steve are 78 and 83% locks. So like
what are me and Steve's percentage for
you guys? We're all close. You and Steve are tied. 52 and 31, both of you. And I'm 54 and 29. So like I have 65%, you have 63%.
Oh geez.
It's fucking splitting hairs. But your locks are so much better than mine. So I'm gonna start listening to Steve. I'm gonna start betting on Steve. Just taking his locks, going to the bookie, cashing out, thumbing like a hedge fund.
Yeah, don't listen to me.
And we are going to we're gonna lock down some more what do you want to call it? Ideas for the actual bets and locks. Because I think we were onto something when we talked about if we pick locks that are underdogs, you get more points, and if you pick locks that are favorites.
Yeah.
What you doing over there?
I'm just looking at like the punches thrown for the Shevchenko fight.
Anything interesting?
308 for Grasso. Total thrown. 182 landed. Shevchenko, though, are you ready for this? 228 thrown, 167 landed with 73%. Grasso with 59%. Significant strikes.
Shevchenko won out on total strike percentage. She had more significant strikes and a higher significant strike percentage, and she had way more takedowns.
Yeah.
Alexa Grasso got that submission, though. That's crazy. With only 26 seconds left in the 4th round.
Takedowns.
Grasso said that she trained for that exact
move.
Yeah, like Shevchenko would throw a spinning side kick, and Grasso jumped right on her back. Beautifully done. Beautifully done. When's the last time we saw so many fucking submissions in the main card, man? We saw 4 out of the 5 main card fights end in submission.
Never.
That's pretty crazy. We saw Gamrot versus Turner in just about exactly what we thought. I thought it was going to be exactly what happened, but Turner would win the decision. Instead, Gamrot won the decision 29-28.
Yeah.
Turner was way better
more
standing.
Punches, too.
Turner to me looked way better standing.
81% total strike.
Well, that's because look at his significant strikes versus his total strikes. He had 60 strikes on the ground. Yeah. On the ground, let's actually do this.
81%.
On the ground, his striking was 60 landed for 67 thrown. That's a pretty decent percentage on the ground. Jalen Turner had a knockdown. Mateus Gamrot was 4 for 12 for takedowns. Gamrot on 2 weeks' notice comes in and beats Jalen Turner, ending his 6-fight winning streak. Cody Garbrandt won in the worst fight of the night. Fucking terrible.
Yeah, I knew he was gonna win though.
We talked about Brunson
Trevin Jones,
Duplessis.
dude. Like, I understand, like, he hasn't been fighting like good recently, but like, Trevin Jones, it was so boring. Trevin Jones he threw double the amount Cody Garbrandt threw. Double.
Well, not only that, but going into it was literally I don't know the exact timestamp, but going into the last 2 or 3 minutes of the third round, Trevin Jones had 9 total strikes landed.
Yeah.
And then in the last 2 or 3 minutes, he landed 20 more to even out the total strikes. But I looked at it in the middle of the third round and I was like, dude, they have combined landed 34 strikes. And then Jones almost like, he didn't almost, but he had an opportunity to finish Garbrandt at the end. Garbrandt got rocked and dropped. And that's when Jones got a takedown. So very, very bad fight. Good luck having Cody Garbrandt face a big namer on a big card again. Dana White was probably pissed at that fight. Start gearing up for UFC 286, man. 13 days.
Yeah, I think the next week's fight night is really underrated. It should be, dude. It's contemplated. That should be a fucking pay-per-view. Got Jan Walsh-Willie, Volkov, Romanov, Nikita Krylov, Ryan Spann. Like
Said Nurmagomedov, Jonathan Martinez.
Like Ryan Spann, Nikita Krylov. That was supposed to be a main event on a fight night. Now they're on.
Rafael Assunção, Davy Grant.
Yeah, it's good card.
Victor Henry, Tony Gravely. Tyson Nam, Bruno Silva. Abubakar Nurmagomedov. It's a lot of. There's barely any ranked fighters, but a lot of people on the cusp of being ranked on a fight night. And then 286 in Wembley, dude. That crowd's going to be nuts. Can't wait for that. First England card in a long time. They had one in like August last year?
Mm-hmm. I think Usman's probably going to win that.
Yeah, I have Usman. 287 is going to be so good, too. Michael Chiesa versus Li Jingliang is going to be a 287. That's a good fight. But yeah, 285 was. I'm going to go ahead and guess it's going to be card of the year, unless International Fight Week happens and something fucking spectacular. John Jones versus Stipe is going to be more competitive than Jones versus Khan, if I can take that leap.
Probably. I mean, it's not really a big leap. It's more like just a small step.
So, like, what do you want to see as the co-main event of that card?
Which card?
International Fight Week. John Jones versus Stipe. It's too soon to have Connor versus Chandler.
Oh yeah, it's way too soon. I think it was interesting that Connor went to that fight. I think that's pretty cool.
Because they were filming Roadhouse.
Yeah. I think I don't know. Who do you think?
So what I did earlier, when I did the full year predictions of this card, I had 2 fights on it, and I had Brandon Moreno, Alexander Pantoja, and I had Wiley Zhang, Rose Namajunas 3. So one of those 2 fights for International Fight Week makes sense. I can also see Jamal Hill, Magomed Ankalaev on that card. And it's tough to say, like, I could see Volkanovski Rodriguez on that card. I think it's a little too soon for that, but that could happen. Cejudo Sterling's going to happen at 288. Pereira Adesanya 287. So that's That's potential flyweight. It's not going to be bantamweight. It's not going to be, or I guess it could be featherweight. It's not going to be lightweight. It's not going to be welterweight. It's not going to be middleweight. Could be light heavyweight, and heavyweight is the main event for this. So, I mean, you could throw a women's bantamweight fight in there. You could put Amanda Nunes because if you can finally get Juliana Pena under contract, but that's a mess of that division right now that they need to figure out. So, I would guess the flyweight title, and then maybe you could throw 3 championships. You could put Wiley Zhang on there.
I think. What do you think John Jones should be on the pound-for-pound ranking list when it is updated? Number 3, behind Islam and Volk, or does he shoot right back up to number 1?
Who's number 3 right now?
Edwards. Behind him.
Okay, he's above Edwards. He's definitely above Edwards.
Usman number 4, Adesanya number 5, Pereira number 6, Sterling number 7.
Yeah, Jones is at least top 3.
At least top 3, dude. I would say arguably above Makhachev.
Well, you can't put him above Makhachev. If you put him above Makhachev, you have to put him above Volkanovski because they're both
I'm looking at this right
tied
now.
for 1.
Adesanya.
I know it says 1 and 2, but they're technically tied for 1.
I'm looking at this right now. Like Pereira beat Adesanya, but Adesanya is still ahead of Pereira.
Yep.
Like Leon Edwards lost the fucking fight to Kamaru Usman, but
if John Jones, I think he will go to 3.
Like, do you agree?
They'll put him at 3.
Yeah, that's what I think. He'll put him at 3 too. I think
if you put him at 3, could Leon or Usman surpass him with a win in 2 weeks?
I think if Leon wins again, yeah. Not if Usman.
But if Usman wins, he doesn't?
No. He only goes above Leon Edwards and then it's behind John Jones.
See, I would think the different. I would think if Usman wins, he
That's
goes
fine.
above John Jones. Just because
Why
he
do you
had
think that?
Just because he had that long winning streak and he's back on champ.
Yeah, I
And
just
you
think
can try
John
to
Jones'
say-
winning streak's still way more impressive.
No, of course.
And
But
he
you can
finished
say
him in
that-
under 2 minutes. And Usman couldn't put Leon Edwards away.
Right. I just think that Kamaru Usman, I mean, obviously he's been much more active. And I wouldn't be
So you're just
for it.
You're just gonna keep going back and forth
I
with
wouldn't
that?
want him to be over. I'm just saying I could see them doing it. Like, I think John Jones should stay at 3. And then if John Jones beats Stipe, if he finished him in the first round again, I might give him 1 at that point. Like, he is he's the GOAT. He's the best pound for pound in the world. The only thing that stops him from being number 1 is that he's not been active. That's it.
I think you could say that right now. It's kind of why you're putting him number 3.
Totally could.
That's why you're putting him number 3, not number 1.
So if he fights twice this year, that means he's active
going to fight
champion.
twice.
So you should put him at number 1.
He fight 3 times. He said he wants to be very active. He can go through an 8-fight contract and go through half the contract in a year.
Yeah.
4 fights a year. He's always fought 3-4 times a year.
Well, he did earlier in his career. In the back
Well,
half.
yeah. Well, then he got in trouble. He got fucking suspended for 2 years, 3 years, 3-year layoff, dude. This guy, half of his career, he's not even.
So we have Jones versus Miocic next. We're pretty sure in July. In April, we have Pavlovich versus Blades. And that should be the next winner, right? So that gives him enough time. If Jones gets an early win, then it could happen in December.
They literally do not stand a chance. For at least a year.
Well,
there's no one.
Well, listen,
that
Cyril
could beat
Gane
him.
has better wrestling than Sergey Pavlovich, right?
He's just gonna
that's what
submit
I'm
these
gonna
fucking
assume.
guys. Assume? We fucking know, dude.
No, I'm saying that Pavlovich doesn't have as good as wrestling as Gane. He could. We don't know. We haven't seen Pavlovich on the ground. And
His fights don't go past a minute.
As far as these fucking UFC heavyweights go, it seems like it's not that hard to have better wrestling than Cyril Gane at the moment. So maybe he does, but he probably doesn't. But dude, if Sergey puts his hands on Jones, listen, that's why I said we have a lot of questions still to answer for Jones. We haven't seen him take a punch, especially from a guy like Sergey who has fucking hands. Taking a punch from Sergey is it's basically like taking a punch from a guy.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be the same thing. Jones
Sergey
is gonna take him down.
Pavlovich is ranked higher than Curtis Blades. Sergey Pavlovich is ranked at number 3.
Curtis Blades at 4, I believe.
Tom Aspinall is another curious It's like the one guy maybe in like 3-4 years, like when he faces for the title versus John Jones. Like I think Tom Aspinall could clip this. I think John Jones could lose to Tom Aspinall. Like 3-4 years.
It makes the most sense
On
to me.
John Jones's way out. If he is on the decline at that time, I think the stars got to be aligned.
Yeah. I don't think anyone beats John Jones.
No, absolutely
but
not.
I think you're right that Tom Aspinall probably has the best skill set to do it. What
like the drop off is so
something else that I
bad,
found.
bro.
Listen, if Ngannou comes back, which I don't know if he ever will, he will then be in the best position to beat John Jones.
Yeah.
So I still think Jones. Yeah, I think Jones can get knocked out. You know, it's the only way I see John Jones losing.
Like
He's
Derek
getting knocked
Lewis,
the fuck out.
It's such a steep drop off, man.
You know what I found interesting too? Jones weighed in at 248.5, right? And he says that he wants to come in like 10 pounds leaner for his fight against Stipe. What do you think about that? He's got to be not. He's not gonna have that belly.
I think that's what Stipe weighed in 235.
Stipe, it was weird. Stipe is now at like he just talked about it. He's now at 253. He's been bulking up. He says, like he wanted to be lighter against Cormier.
I don't think that's not. You should not say that. You should not say that.
I think if Stipe is not much faster than John Jones, there's no chance Stipe wins.
And if
That's
you're
the
putting
only
if you're putting
thing you
on
got.
weight, if you're putting on weight to face John Jones when you've never done that in your whole career and you're 39, bro, that ain't good.
Well, no, because Stipe usually
slower,
fought at
bro.
250, and
No,
then
but-
against Cormier he dropped down to 240.
You think he's gonna be faster or slower?
If he puts on weight, I don't think it'll be much slower, but yeah, slower. I think that he'll have more strength, which
Yeah, it
I
doesn't
think
need to
he
be
will
much-
need to
it
grapple
doesn't need
with
to be
John
a
Jones.
Big ass difference, but like, yo, like you're slower. You want to be slower versus John Jones? Come on.
I think Stipe is thinking that he's gonna hit John Jones once, and Jones has never felt that power before. Even though Stipe's never been a fucking real powerful heavyweight, he has knockouts and he is powerful, but he's
knocked
not
out
like,
Daniel Cormier.
he's not like.
Talking about a guy who Daniel Cormier beat, but also lost. That beat Daniel Cormier, and John Jones just decimated him. I think we already know what's gonna happen.
Stipe's knockout of DC is one of the coolest ever because he basically knocked him out on body shots. DC had like 80 more strikes landed, and then as soon as the fourth round starts, Stipe just switches to body shots. It's all he's throwing. He throws like 10, 15 that lands so well and knocks out Cormier after losing the first 3 rounds. Such a great game plan move. Stipe's very smart. He is.
He is the greatest heavyweight of all time.
Listen, here's the thing though.
Is he?
In his Stipe, yeah, definitely.
I think so.
Stipe, you could say, also got out wrestled by Francis Ngannou. It is in their second fight. Stipe went for a takedown. He got sprawled. He got switched to backside mount. Got beat the shit out of. And then when they went to the ground again, Francis didn't let him up until the end of the round. So, Stipe, I don't know, man. He seemed very confident. He put on a brave face. I'll give him that.
He does not seem confident.
He seemed.
Say, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna win. Yeah, okay, buddy. After what you just saw, you're just gonna say I'm gonna go out there and win.
Yeah.
No, he's not confident, bro. If he was confident, he would have been talking mad shit about.
That's
John
not what
Jones.
Stipe does, though. Stipe doesn't talk shit at all.
And look at boring.
Yeah,
like you said, it was a boring. The 2 interviews that he had were so boring. Like it was like
he's just not marketable.
So,
the only thing
so
that
predictable.
makes him marketable is that he's the heavyweight goat. That's it. And that's a decent thing to be marketable about. But he's just not one of those guys that lives in the glitz and glamour. You don't hear anything from Stipe at all for the last year and a half because he hasn't been in a fight.
Yeah.
Well,
it's also not good either. He's a year and a half without a fight, heavyweight division, coming back against the greatest of all time.
Well, that's what we could say about
and he's
John Jones
gonna be bigger. He's saying he's been bulking up. I'm bearish as fuck. You know what that means? Bearish. I am no faith. 0.
Yeah.
0. I'm not buying into it.
I mean, we talked about it right after the fight. So John Jones closed at -170 against Gane in August when the fight was first.
5 points.
When the fight was first tried to be booked against Stipe, Jones was -200. Now that Jones has a very dominant win, Stipe's been out even longer. Going into July, what do you think John Jones opens up at?
Minus 300, 350.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like I was going to go -350, -380, something like that. And I think he closes at -450.
And you know what I'm betting on?
Submission?
Submission. Because I really think that is his game plan. Because he's seeing what Khabib did and all these other fighters before him. And I think heavyweight ground game is
ever
something
tapped. I doubt it.
that would be even better for John. John, I told you, yes, John Jones retweeted a video of the guillotine.
Yep.
And what did he do?
You know, he's never tapped.
He'll tap. It's gonna be a good line. Be a good number.
Yeah, if he's -350, I would say his submission
John Jones
plus
ever
120?
won back-to-back fights by submission.
Probably back in the day. He was submitting
Yeah.
a lot of people. Like when he went from Rampage to Machida. Was that back-to-back? Because those were 2 submissions. Or did he have Rashad Evans in there in the middle? I would be shocked. Yes. Okay. It was Rampage to Machida. Rampage to Machida. All right. So this is interesting. From 2011 to 2012, right? He had 6 fights in 2011 and 2012, and he won 4 by submission. He won 1 by knockout, and he won 1 by decision.
Interesting how it was when he got the title run, and
Yep.
he was just submitting people back to back to back to back. And I think it's going to happen the same exact way because that division at that point in time sucked on the ground, just like heavyweights suck on the ground now. I mean, like Frank Mir.
So let me ask you this. Does that make Curtis Blades one of the best opponents John Jones could have? Because Curtis Blades is, besides Joan, he is the best wrestler in that division.
No, I just stylistically, like, you can maybe argue it, but I think, like, at the end of the day, I think John Jones has better striking. Even though he says he's uncomfortable on the feet, I think his reach and his striking ability, and
no
his
doubt
fighting IQ, his high knees, his leg kicks, high knees, you know what I mean, fucking knees to the flying knees. There's no comparison. There's just a little comparison to the ground game because no heavyweights ever go to the ground. That's why they're in heavyweights.
Mhm.
You know, I think you're going to see a lot more fighters coming up that are going to do what John Jones is doing, especially people like Tom Aspinall. You know, they're going to make their run by bringing people to the ground and trying to submit
It's
them.
weird because Tom Aspinall is, you don't think of him as a wrestler, and he has multiple submission wins. He's very good on the ground, but he's a fucking striker, which is
he does have fast striking.
which is John Jones opposite, because John Jones is a wrestler who is really good at striking.
Yeah, he's John Jones.
But yeah, he's
He's
pretty
good at
he's
everything.
pretty good at everything.
You know what I mean? Like, I think maybe Jones has the advantage of surprise and leg kicks, dude. Like, I just which is the element to surprise. He can do it all, man. You don't know what he's gonna do. He might shoot for a takedown.
Here's something else. He gained a lot of confidence. He went in there. He told himself, like, okay, now I know I can do it. And he did not give a lot of tape away.
No.
People don't have much to study on him.
Dude.
All right, so here, see. Oh, wait, fight's over. Okay. What'd you learn?
What did I learn? I learned to just go with what I think is going to happen in John Jones fights, and I'm going to continue to do that because we literally got it off to the tee. I think maybe some people said like he wasn't gonna maybe go for a takedown in the first round.
I did.
I thought he was. I thought he fucking was. And the fact that there's no tape of him striking in the heavyweight division is a huge disadvantage to his opponents, and I think he knows that. And I
right
think,
after the fight, he said something along the lines of, "We were prepared for every single strike Cyril has in his arsenal. Like, we watch tape on him extensively. We know exactly when he switch kicks, what position he likes to throw it from, and where his foot goes immediately."
yeah,
He said when he switches to orthodox, he likes to throw a front kick instead of a sweeping leg kick. John Jones not only has the greatest fight IQ ever, but he might watch the most tape ever.
oh yeah, he's
And-
the Tom Brady. He's the Tom Brady of the UFC.
And
Like,
what's even more interesting of that is over the last 2 years, John Jones has been gearing up to fight two people, Stipe and Francis Ngannou. And then over the last 4 months, it switched to Cyril Gane. And he's like, okay, now I got to watch Cyril Gane tape. So Jones has been watching tape of Miocic for 2 years now.
wasn't he supposed? Yeah, he was supposed to fight Miocic back in August. Well, he wasn't supposed to. It was like in talks of him fighting Miocic, right? Yeah.
And so he already watches a fuck ton of tape on Miocic.
Yeah, I think Miocic is in trouble. Nothing else really to.
I think Miocic
There's nothing
is
that he
going
can
to
do
get-
that John Jones is not going to be prepared for and ready for. And there's so much tape on him.
I think Miocic is getting one more bag before he retires.
Yeah, he should
That's
retire after
what I
this
think.
because why continue to fight in a division where you're never going to be able to beat the champion and you're 39 years
Well,
old?
in that way, everybody should just retire.
No, because like you can argue, say like Pavlovich can rush in on him in 30 seconds and clock him with the right, which is not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people can argue with the Curtis Blades thing. Like Curtis Blades has the best ground game, I suppose, other than John Jones in that division, and he has one fight in it.
What's next?
What else am I
Cyril?
missing? Dude, I think Tom Aspinall 3-4 years is your best shot.
So you got Gane, Miocic, Pavlovich, Blades, Tuvasa, Aspinall, Volkov. Am I missing anybody here? Spivak. Oh, Spivak probably has the best wrestling, actually. Spivak is a fantastic
Better than
wrestler.
Jones?
But Jones, probably not. Spivak's wrestling is
Not gonna-
he's an Olympic silver medalist.
This guy's
But no,
fucking.
I'm sure his wrestling's not as good as Jones, but it's very, very elite.
What do you call when you?
But
when
I'm
you-
sure John Jones' striking is
What
ridiculously
would you
better.
call when you melt the gold, silver, and bronze and you put it into one?
I'm not
What would you
out
make?
here saying like these guys have a chance, or I'm just looking
Oh no,
for
I'm just
anything.
just
you know what I
solidifying
mean?
it. Yeah, it's just like
I'm like,
that's what
who
John
the
Jones
fuck
is.
who could?
Yeah, that's what I
be
was
a
saying. Like,
challenger?
who could like?
I like in a couple
Speeds.
years, Jailton Almeida. Listen, he's on the up and up. He's
Yeah.
4 fights in the UFC or 5 fights in the UFC.
He could be ranked 6 and have to fight John Jones, bro.
Mhm.
Like, is Tai Tuivasa ever gonna fight John Jones?
No.
This must be not a depressing time for him because he's still fucking marketable. But like,
Tai Tuivasa
Why-
is totally marketable still,
oh,
but he will
Absolutely.
be a 5 to 10 guy for the rest of his career. And that's all right. He had his
fine.
one little run
That's
where he
fine.
made a lot of money, and he's still gonna make a lot of money.
yeah,
But he should stick to the Derek Lewis's, the Chris Dawkinses of the world.
yeah. I mean, then he's gonna get like maybe like a 2-fight win streak, 3-fight, and then what? Face.
I don't know if he can get a 2-3 fight win streak. Listen, he got a 3-fight win streak. He got a 5-fight win streak against not great people. The last 3 wins were Greg Hardy, Augusto Sakai, and Derek Lewis. And then he fought Cyril Gane and Sergey Pavlovich and got fucked up by both.
Yeah, well, I think he did pretty good against Cyril Gane,
He
dude.
did.
He rocked him,
He
and
did
I
all
think
right.
Cyril Gane's kind of overrated. I think I can say that. And I
Maybe.
think he's a little
It's-
overrated. I think
It's a little bit. We just saw him
Okay,
get
let's switch it
submitted
up,
in
though.
2 minutes.
let's switch it up because we compared John Jones to everybody. Now let's compare Cyril Gane
Okay.
to everybody. Cyril Gane versus Pavlovich. Pavlovich, bro. It's a good fight. It's a good fight.
I look at that just like I look at, because to me, Pavlovich is a little bit better version of Tai Tuivasa and Derek Lewis. And Cyril Gane beat them both.
Who are we talking about? I
Pavlovich.
think he's faster, more muscular.
Yeah.
Not as You know,
He's faster, but like he's faster. He hits a little bit harder, but other than that,
I think it's
that's it.
maybe a little bit harder. Maybe.
Well, Derek Lewis hits very fucking hard too.
Yeah.
So like
Pavlovich mops the floor with him.
I think Gator Pavlovich, that's a close fucking fight, man. That's real close. And if Gane escapes the first round, I'm putting a lot more of my faith in Gane.
Yeah.
But I'll go ahead and play this game. I'll go ahead and say Pavlovich because Pavlovich, I think, has a brighter future. Like, he could just knock the fuck out of anybody. He's the Russian Francis Ngannou.
Yeah, like he knocks out Cyril Gane. It's like, oh.
Gane versus Aspinall.
It's so much better fight.
That's a close fight.
It's a close fight, dude.
And I look at it, I think Aspinall might be one of the only people in the heavyweight division besides John Jones that's faster than Gane.
If he can take
and I'm not even like totally sure I'm not even totally sure Jones is faster than Gane, but I think he is.
If he can take down Cyril Gane, it's over.
It's anybody can
it's
take
over,
down
dude. It's over. So I would bank on Tom Aspinall taking him to the ground and beating him. Mm-hmm. So I would take Tom Aspinall.
I don't know.
I know that there might be a little recency bias, and like Tom Aspinall's knee, what just happened, like if he's healthy and all this stuff, and
he says he wants to fight in June. He says he's healthy.
I would probably
his ACL tear was 7 months ago.
Yeah, when I hear Cyril Gane versus Tom Aspinall, I feel like the easy answer is Cyril Gane. To just say Cyril Gane, that's the easiest answer.
Sure.
Harder answer, and a more defined problem to the solutions is Tom Aspinall. I think Tom Aspinall could get it done. It might be by decision. He might not be able to finish him on the ground, but I think if he gets him on the ground and holds him there, and Cyril Gane can't get up, like he's proven time and time again.
I think that
domination.
When Tom Aspinall returns, which should be 3-4 months from now, sometime in the summer, there's only 2 fighters that make sense for him to come back against. I'm going to give you them. I want to hear what you want to hear, what you want to see. I think I know the answer. So, Spivak just fought. It's probably too early for him to come back. And he's not really marketable. You don't want to see Spivak versus Aspinall.
No. If you do Spivak, hang on.
Gane just fought. Miocic is going to fight Jones. Pavlovich and Blades are fighting. Those guys are all out. So you got Tai Tuivasa, Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Those are the 2 only fighters that Aspinall can fight. And I know that you want to see at Tuivasa because that's a pretty good fight.
Ready?
But Rozenstruik is farther down in the card, and it's a little bit maybe easier of a fight for Tom Aspinall to come back against.
I know how this is going to be planned out. So, Cyril Gane just lost to John Jones. Okay. Pavlovich is going to face either Blades or Gane. Okay.
Pavlovich is fighting Blades.
He is fighting Blades. Okay,
April
so he's gonna beat Blades. And then after he beats Blades, Pavlovich, he goes up and he probably fights John Jones.
I agree with that. I think Pavlovich fights John Jones at the beginning of next year.
So while this is all transpiring, Tom Aspinall is going to come back and he's going to fight Tai Tuivasa at number 5. Break the top 5 in the heavyweight division.
That's what makes the most sense to me. But I would like to see him get one fight before Tui. Or if they throw him right against Tui, I'm fine with that.
And then you're going to get Pavlovich versus Jones now. Jones beats Pavlovich. Tom Aspinall just beat Tai Tuivasa. And then you got Pavlovich versus Tom Aspinall having.
Now, mind you, we're now talking about the beginning of next year. That gives you time for Tom Aspinall versus Cyril Gane.
Yeah, I know. I'm forgetting kind of Cyril Gane here, but you could do that, and then you could be Tom Aspinall beats Cyril Gane, or Tom Aspinall beats Sergey Pavlovich, and because
if Jones just beat Pavlovich, you know what I mean? Like if we're going on a timetable here, like we're saying Jones beats Miocic in July, beats Pavlovich in January. By January's time, Aspinall beat Tai Tuivasa around the summer. And then if he wants one more fight right around the time Jones fights Pavlovich,
it would have to be Gane or Pavlovich. Because if he just, so this is what I'm looking at. Like John Jones wins Pavlovich, and then Pavlovich needs someone to fight.
Yep.
Tom Aspinall beats him, the guy that John Jones just beat. Makes Tom Aspinall look even better. You know,
that's a little bit farther down the road.
This is like no.
This
I'm
is
thinking
like summer
2 years.
of next year.
This is
Yeah.
2 years.
Yeah.
I know you're thinking a year. I'm thinking a year and a half, 2 down the road. But I also do. John Jones says he wants to be very active. So I mean, like, he could be.
He ripped off the Band-Aid, man. Now he's like, okay, here we fucking go.
Yeah, you could fight next 2-3 weeks, dude.
Imagine if that gets, he really could.
Imagine if that gets announced. Oh, John Jones
is gonna hop on 286.
John Jones is getting added to 286.
He's gonna fight Stipe at 286. Stipe said his training camp is always going. He doesn't need. It's not starting anytime. So like, let's go, Stipe.
And I would say Stipe. You can say the same thing about John Jones because this motherfucker hasn't fought in 3 years. Twice.
He barely
combined.
He basically still hasn't.
That's what I mean.
Basically still hasn't even fought.
His training camp's going on no matter what he's doing. If he's doing cocaine, fucking hitting people, hitting people. I don't know.
But fucking he fought for 2 minutes. He basically hasn't even fought still.
Dude, he looks so good, bro. So
yeah, he does. He really does. You have a point though. Like, the heavyweight division looks really good, but it also doesn't because you have.
It's not good, I don't think.
To me, it's like the featherweight division.
It's not.
There's
good.
still some questions to be answered. Okay,
Exactly.
John Jones
is
the GOAT. He's still better, but he still has to take a fucking punch. We still have to see that, especially from a guy like Pavlovich.
Yeah, I mean,
that is a question.
Say the same thing about him and Ngannou for the rest of his career.
100%.
I just think.
But you look at it, and it's like Jones here, and then you got Miocic, Pavlovich, God, Blades, Aspinall, and then just everybody else down here.
Yeah, I think the heavyweight division is so ass, bro. It's so.
I don't think it is.
Stipe's 39. You got Pavlovich. You just broke the top 5. Curtis Blades, who's been top 4 to 7, 8 guy in that division for a while. Tom Aspinall is new and up and coming. Just tore his fucking knee to oblivion.
Tom Aspinall's new and up and coming. Spivak's new and up and coming.
Romanov's
up and coming.
Rosenstrike sucks and he's top 10.
Rosenstrike doesn't suck. He doesn't.
I'm comparing it. Dude, this division is ass, bro.
I don't think so.
Marcin Tybura is number 10.
Marcin Tybura is a good fighter, dude.
Derek Lewis is number 11.
Marcin Tybura has won 5 of his last 6.
Against who?
Against Blagoy Ivanov.
Oh, who?
Romanov.
Who?
Walt Harris. Greg Hardy.
Who?
They're good fighters.
Blagoy
Ivanov's number 15.
Greg Hardy's not even in the UFC anymore.
Okay, so 3 of his last 4
You can try to play devil
advocate
fighters here, but this heavyweight division is ass, bro.
I don't think it is.
It's the worst that it's been. It's the worst that it's been.
No, it's way better than it was 2 years ago. Way better.
Okay, maybe, but how's it improved?
Because
what's changed about it from 2 years ago? Not much. John Jones being the champion.
Because you have
the only thing that's changed.
You have 3 new guys that are rocketing up the division.
Who?
You have Sergey Pavlovich, Tom Aspinall, and Gelton Almeida.
Gelton Almeida is ranked 14. Bro.
Yeah, but he's still he was
ranked 14.
He had no fights last year, and now he's number 14. Or he had
rocketing. He's 14.
He is rocketing through it.
He's rocketing. He's had no fights last year, and he's number 14.
He's rocketing through the division, not the top 15.
You know what rocketing through the division is?
We listen?
No, you know what rocketing through the division is? Being
Going
the fucking
from
champion.
0 fights to ranked in 1 year?
0 fights to ranked. It's like he hasn't fought anybody. He's ranked 14.
He had 4 fights last year.
He's ranked 14. Zach. Chris Dawkins is ranked higher than Gelton Almeida.
Yeah, that's because Chris Dawkins was number 7 last year and went on a 3-fight losing streak.
Rosenstrike's ranked higher than Almeida.
Because he's been in the UFC for 1 year.
What are you gonna say about that? But he's rocketing through it.
Yes, he is.
Then why isn't he rocketing through it? I just want to know.
He is. It's been 1 year he's ranked.
Okay.
Where was Pavlovich last year?
Knocking people out in under a minute.
He did the
Where was
same
Almeida?
exact shit as Almeida.
Where was Almeida?
Did the same exact shit
Where
as
was
Almeida. He did the same thing as
Where
Almeida.
was he? You just said he didn't fight last year.
Yes, he did. I said he didn't
Against
have
what?
a ranking last year.
Against what? People coming in on 8 days notice, 5 days notice, 7 days notice.
3 of his 5 wins were on short notice, and he's finished all of them.
And he was minus 1,000, minus 1,200.
He's finished all of them.
On, dude. Come the fuck on.
If you're gonna say that Jailton Almeida is not one of the best prospects in the division, I don't know, man.
But did I say that?
But he's just not rocketing.
No, but did
through
I
the
say
division.
that? You said he was rocketing through
I know.
the division.
And you're saying he's not. I get that.
And he's ranked 14.
And he's
fought the last 2 fights.
Didn't have a fight before last year. He's
Zach,
already ranked.
the last 2 fights he's fought.
Okay, so he's rocketing through the lower ends of the division?
Zach, the last 2 fights he's fought, he's been 7-day notice, 8-day
No,
notice.
That's not true. His last 2 fights were not on short notice.
Okay, you know it. You know it all. He is rocketing through the division.
He's still 14.
Jailton Almeida is rocketing through the division at lightning speed, and he's ranked number 14, below Sergey Spivak at ranked 7, Alexander Volkov at ranked 8, Rosenstrike, who's been in the division for years, at ranked 9, Marcin Tybura at ranked 10, Derek Lewis at ranked 11, who Derek Lewis has fought 3 out of the last 4 out of the past year, 4 times, lost every single one. Chris Daukaus. Let's look at who Chris Daukaus has faced previously. His last fight was against Rosenstrike. Wow, imagine that. Was that a competitive fight?
Rosenstrike fucked up Daukaus.
Exactly.
So let me ask you a question. What rank should someone be after 1 year in the UFC?
That is what you need to figure out. Because I know that where he is ranked and who he has faced, the low end competition, which goes all the way up to probably
he's still a prospect, man.
Number 8. Yeah, he's got a long way to go.
He's got a long way to go, and he came a long way in 1 year's time.
This division is so bad. So bad.
It's not so bad.
All right. It's so good. This division is so good that we have Bloggy Ivanov
Oh, boy.
at rank 15, bro.
Yep.
This is a great division, bro. This is so great.
Hater.
It's so good.
Hater.
How am I a hater? I'm just saying.
Because this division has gotten so much better. And you're not making bad points. You're really not.
Yeah, so don't call me a hater when I'm making good
because
points.
this division has gotten so much better.
I think you're a lover, dude. I think you're blinded by love. I think you're
have
you're
5 or
obsessed.
6 guys that could be. If John Jones, who is the GOAT, we're comparing all these people to the GOAT.
No, we're not. I'm comparing them to the top 3 fighters, top 4.
Okay, so I see. So you got top 4 fighters, not including John Jones. Gane, Miocic, Pavlovich, Blades.
Yeah, Jailton Almeida is skyrocketing through this division.
You have those 4 fighters. If we're talking about who could compete with those 4 fighters, you have Tom Aspinall, Sergey Spivak, Jairzinho Rosenstrike.
You really think Rosenstrike can? Wow.
I'm not saying he could win, but he can compete with him. Jairzinho Rosenstrike can knock
these guys
anybody
can compete, Zach.
Then how is it a shit division if they can?
Because they all suck.
But they can all.
They can compete at a low level.
But I'm saying they can compete with the top 4 guys
at a low level.
All right, man. I'm not gonna.
I don't.
Sure, this division sucks.
No,
it's terrible.
No, this division's good. You're being a hater. This division's great.
It sucks.
No, you're being a hater, man. You're being such a hater.
It's fine. I'm a lover. I'm a lover, not a hater.
I doubt that. I can tell you're not.
But at the end of the day, the top 5 of this division is going to have a fun roller coaster over the next year. I'm excited to see where everybody goes in the top 5. I'm just making conversation now, man. We're good. We're chill.
No, I know you said no. I know, but I think it's like I'm interested to see where people go in the top 5.
Yeah,
just said
Rosenstrike,
Almeida. Oh, I am.
Now
but
I'm
it's just like the whole
now I'm
division.
just moving on, man. That's it. Like I'm just trying to carry this on so we can eventually get out of this. Honestly,
I'm just saying what you're saying is wrong.
Cool. Thank you. So, John Jones is going to run this division for a very long time.
Until Jailton Almeida skyrockets through and beats him.
All right. I guess that's going to kind of finish this. Wallace Willie Jan's going to be a huge event this week. Make sure you guys tune in next week when we go over our picks for the event. That's going to be a lot of fun. Again, fucking Steve and Austin wrecked it with their picks this week. Steve is 11-0,
killing it
with blocks.
Follow
And,
Steve.
We are going to be fucking following this. UFC 286 is up in 2 weeks' time, so we're going to be tweeting a lot about that. And that's going to do it. Episode 163 in the books. UFC 285 is a lot of fucking fun, and can't wait for more pay-per-views in the future. It's going to be a long 2-3 months of great pay-per-views over the next couple of weeks. So make sure everybody's following. Hope you guys won some money last night too.